Oh, it's hot. It's really hot. Oh, I would say the dominant taste I just got was pain. Hey everyone, I'm Dave and today we're making the world's best enchiladas. As always on this channel, I look up the best recipes on Google, I try them out and I let you guys know if they're worth cooking yourself. So let's go ahead and Google world's best enchilada recipe and see what we get. Okay, so it looks like the #1 recipe comes from Give Me Some Oven. It's got 4.8 stars, 596 reviews, and it says it takes an hour to cook, which is kind of long. Longer than I expected, but that's fine. So let me show you the ingredients. We'll start there. You need avocado oil or olive oil, whichever one you have really. It says Mexican 4 cheeses, like a blend. Tortillas, of course. Yeah, and it does call for flour tortillas. I guess you could use corn tortillas, but they will probably break apart. Enchilada sauce, this was kind of a mistake on my end. When I looked at it, I thought I just need to go buy some enchilada sauce, but it actually wanted me to make it from scratch. I'm not gonna do that. I should probably, to really give the recipe the best shot. And if the recipe comes in at like a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10, maybe this is the reason, but I'm not gonna go buy all the ingredients just to make that because it's gonna be really similar. Diced green chilies, black beans, not chives, not sure why I have this here. A white onion, but we have a yellow, which is fine. Not gonna taste that different. What did I not show you? Oh, chicken. Chicken's in the fridge. I'll get it out in a minute. Avocado and a red onion, I don't know. Oh, and cilantro. A lot of those vegetables are just garnishes, to be honest. Mind you, I haven't read through the actual steps yet, but I'm guessing inside the actual tortillas, like maybe some onion, some chicken, and some cheese, and a lot of that stuff's just gonna go on the top. So we're okay. So let's actually get started on this recipe. It's a bit of prep work, but not a ton. If you're making your own enchilada sauce, you would start off by making that. And I looked at the recipe it gives. It looks really easy, actually. I have almost every ingredient. I'm missing like 2 spices and chicken stock. I don't have those 2 things. And like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. So we're gonna start off just by getting this onion ready. We need to dice it up. Hopefully this knife is sharp. I really need to invest in some better knives. These are not great, but they're all right. They do the trick. Hopefully I don't start crying, because sometimes I do that when I cut onions. It's weird, it seems like it happened more when I was younger, and now when I cut onions, I don't like tear up as much. Do you guys still tear up when you cut onions? Maybe it's because like, here's what I think is happening when you cry with an onion. And I've never like researched this or Googled this. Actually, it's a good time to mention I am not a professional chef in any way, shape, or form. I do this for fun because I like to cook, and I figured it'd be cool to take some people along for the ride. If you like it, make sure you subscribe, and we'll try all types of recipes and we'll see how it goes. Since I'm not a professional, sometimes they come out bad and it's not the recipe's fault. Sometimes it's my fault. But like I said, stay tuned, and I don't even know. I think I'm just gonna throw this away. This is a small onion, and that's already like a medium onion in my opinion. Yeah, I think what happens when you cut an onion is the juice in it, if you're like a aggressive cutter, flies up and gets into your eye. And that's probably what makes you cry. That's my guess. But you guys let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Look at this, got like a bit of flesh there. All right, so as always, I'm gonna unprofessionally cut an onion. Feel free to judge me in the comments below. Not a professional, no training. Well, unless you count 7th grade. I did have cooking class. And I remember one of the recipes she taught me was s'mores. So not super educational. Although, s'mores are good. I just don't know if you need to learn about them in a cooking class. What is that movie where he says s'more? Do you want a s'more? S'more of what? You want a s'more? S'more of what? I haven't had anything yet. So cheesy. What is that from? Is that Sandlot? It might be Sandlot. All right, so my wife just read me why onions make you cry, and she said something about sulfuric acid and something like that. It all sounded really complex, so I'm gonna go ahead with my theory and say stuff shoots your eyes and that makes you cry, which might kind of be what she read, but just in bigger words. Now, one of your goals when you cut onions, I've heard, should be making them all even sizes, all the little diced bits, even sizes. I've never accomplished it, but I've heard that's a goal. So, you know, if you wanna do that, go to town. I'm just making a mess. That's what I'm doing. This isn't the knife I normally use. Kinda struggling. Look, this seems like a decent amount of diced onions, right? That was one of the main things we had to prep right now. But we also should go ahead and open up our beans and our green chilies and our enchilada sauce, because we're gonna need that in a minute. I'm using a patent pending can opener. Not really patent pending, but I am using a can opener. I mean, I don't know how else you'd get these cans open. I guess you could just smash them on the countertop until they open, but I don't recommend that. Now these are, in my world, gonna end up being breakfast enchiladas, but they're really meant for dinner, I think. It's so dangerous. It's gonna cut me. And I'm gonna drain the water stuff out of here because the recipe says drain, so I'm gonna push that down and just dump out the juice. Does it also say rinsed? Let me look. Rinsed and drained, so I'll pour them in a colander and actually wash them. stand by. All right, I'm back. I drained and washed the beans. Do you guys say washed? That's what my wife's family says. They live in West Virginia and they say washed. My wife says her grandma lived in Virginia, not West Virginia, so what do I know? Okay, so we've got our beans ready. We've got our diced chilies. These are just sold in like the international food section. Some enchilada sauce. We got our diced onions here. Let me just look and see what we're doing with these other vegetables. I think they go on at the end. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna move our cameras over to the stove, do some cooking, and then we'll come back here. This will be quick. Okay, I just realized I made a bit of a mistake. I should have also diced my chicken over on my main counter, but now I'm over here. So I've already got the camera here. I'm just gonna dice it here. You need 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, I would say. Although I think all chicken breast is boneless. This is boneless skinless, which is what it calls for. And this is 2 pounds, so this is a lot. All right, so I'll use most of this. It's 2 pounds, it calls for 1.5 pounds, and I'll just, maybe one chicken breast I won't use. What we'll do is we'll put it over here on the cutting board and we're just gonna dice it. Chop it, dice it, I don't know. What do you do to a chicken breast? Either way, we're gonna make smaller pieces. Have you heard of butterflying? That's when you put a butterfly on the chicken. That's not true. That's not what butterflying is. Butterflying is when you like cut it in half lengthwise and spread it. I don't know. I've done it in some recipes before, like a chicken marsala or something like that. I've made enchiladas a few times and never really thought they were that good homemade, but I've never done this recipe. Maybe my problem is I was using the wrong recipes. We're gonna find out in a little bit, guys. Stay tuned and we'll see if these are the world's best enchiladas. I'll tell you this, I'm kind of boring. When I order enchiladas at our Mexican restaurant, I usually just get the cheese ones. I don't know why, I just really like the cheese enchiladas when I go out. So I think we want pretty bite-sized pieces here. Remember, these are gonna go inside the shells, the tortilla shells, and be something we wanna eat. So I'm thinking smaller than I was cutting. Now I'm cutting them a little smaller. I want to be pretty small pieces, so. Oh, while we do this, let me turn on my oven, and I'm gonna throw my onions in this skillet that I have over here with my clean, non-chickeny hand. But first, my brain's in too many places. I'm doing too many things at once. Let's heat up some oil in there. So I'm gonna turn on that stove. What's it called? The eye of that stove? But yeah, I'm all over the place. It's actually probably really hard to follow a recipe from someone who's completely all over the place. But if we go back and recap, all we've really done is chop up some onions and we're chopping up some chicken and we're heating some oil on the stove. So it's not that crazy what's happening. So I just put a little bit of that avocado oil in that pan, and I'll show you that in a second after we finish cutting this chicken up. Now, I said I was gonna use all but one piece of chicken. There's 3 total in here and it's 2 pounds. So 1/3 of 2 pounds, I do not think equals 1.5 pounds. Well, if it was 0.7 of a pound, I don't know how I'm mathing. Anyways, I think basically instead of 1/3 of this chicken, I need to use 3/4 of it. That's the simple math. These are kind of big chicken chunks still. So I'm gonna use like the small half of this last chicken breast as well. That, and then we're gonna say that's probably 1.5 pounds. I mean, if you're going to the store, you could just look for a package that says 1.5 pounds, but a lot of times you don't get to pick the exact weight of your chicken. Sometimes you have to do some on-the-fly bad math, which is what I'm doing right now. All right, so these are diced, sort of. I feel like it may want it to be even smaller, but I'm gonna be eating it, so I'm sure it'll taste fine regardless. All right, so that's good. I'm gonna wash my hands, put that chicken away, and I'll be back. So, my avocado oil is heated up. Now we're gonna add the chicken to this skillet. I'm gonna turn it a little bit. Not the chicken, I'm sorry, words are hard. We're gonna add the onion to that. I've got it on medium heat. All right, so our onion's heating up. I think it said 3 minutes, but I'll check really quick, hold on. You know, one ingredient I didn't mention was the salt and pepper. So it does call for salt and pepper. It actually says to put your heat on medium high, so I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit, and we'll, you know, add some movement to the onions, make sure they're all getting cooked here. Try to coat the bottom of the pan with them. Like this sort of thing right here is my sloppy cooking, a big giant piece of onion. That's not gonna be really good if you get that in your mouthful. So as far as next steps, we are going to cook this for 3 minutes until it's like translucent. And then once that happens, we will add our chicken breast and our green chili. So you might wanna have the green chilies on standby if you left them somewhere else or haven't opened them yet. I would say open them up now. Why is it a breakfast enchilada for me? Just because I have a busy day ahead of me and I wanted to make this video and I was like, I'll just cook them early and have them for breakfast. It's a little weird, a little unconventional, but I haven't eaten yet, so it'll be a delicious enchilada breakfast. Really, we need more of that. I know they do make some like breakfast enchiladas. That would be a cool recipe to make on the channel one time, some sort of breakfast enchilada, burrito, something along those lines. All right, these onions are looking pretty good. They're actually browning a little too, which I don't really want, but I walked away to find the salt and pepper and it took me a couple minutes, so. All right, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's add this chicken before this gets too cooked. We're adding all these diced chicken bits to this. Anytime you add something to the pan, by default, the pan is gonna cool down a little bit because you're adding something cold. So it's a good way to chill out the temperature if you need to. I'm gonna turn it down a little though. So you can hear that sizzle. I feel like I'm at Konki or one of those teppanyaki restaurants where they cook the chicken in front of you. The Japanese restaurants, you know what I'm talking about, guys, right? And we're gonna let this chicken cook. It's gonna take like 8 minutes. While it cooks, we're also gonna add the green chilies. They're gonna be part of this, so it's gonna get pretty aromatic in here, would be my guess. I hope this comes out well. Like I said, I've generally had bad luck with enchiladas, but this one could go better than previous ones. Oh, that green chili really simmered down the simmering. Oh no, I lost a piece of chicken. All right, let's let this cook for a couple minutes. Like I said, it's probably gonna, it says 8 minutes, but in my experience, cooking chicken always takes longer if you really want to get all the pink out. And it's my understanding that rare or medium rare chicken's not super safe to eat, so we definitely want to make sure we cook it all the way. Now I'm gonna come back in and stir it. It's been like 2 minutes. I've been kind of cleaning up a little. Black beans are gonna be the next ingredient, but not quite yet. I'm just gonna have them on standby, and we'll be adding them in a little while longer. Once this chicken cooks through, we'll add the black beans. So what do you guys think of my diced chicken? Is it too big? I'm a little torn on it. I feel like maybe it should have been smaller, but I did Google image. Like I went into Google and I searched for images of diced chicken, and they pretty much look like this. I mean, maybe like these ones. I mean, there's a couple that are bigger than what I saw, so I don't know. Let me know what you think. Again, this is a chicken enchilada filling. If you weren't paying attention, I don't know why I said that, but you know, just so you know, we're making a chicken enchilada filling. Yeah. Now, as with every time I'm cooking, I forgot something. So remember, when you add the chicken and the green chilies to the onion, add some salt and pepper. It says a generous pinch. So I'm gonna take some salt in my hand like this, and I'm gonna be generous and pinch it. That's what I'm calling a generous pinch. And then I'm gonna do another one because I like it salty. Chicken's kind of bland, so you know, you wanna make it good. And then it says a generous pinch of pepper, so we'll do the same thing. Get some pepper. You know, the big no-no is going salt or pepper to pan. You're always supposed to go to hand. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's like one of the few cooking things I know, because when you're pouring it, you might accidentally dump it all, and then you've ruined an entire dish. Whereas if you put it in your hand first and then you pinch it on there, you're gonna be much less likely to destroy all your hard work. You may just get too much pepper on your hand or spill it on the floor, which is not a big deal compared to ruining your food. I've already taught my kids that. I think that's important because my daughter was making popcorn, and she loves salty popcorn. Like, tastes like the ocean when she eats popcorn, but whatever. But one time she was actually pouring the salt straight into the popcorn and a bunch spilled in it and ruined it. So you gotta be careful. It was even too salty for her, and she loves salty popcorn. So this actually looks like it's getting pretty cooked. We want to make sure there's no pink inside. Be careful. Don't eat raw chicken. That's the message of the day. I could make a whole calendar, like, you know those daily saying calendars? People don't really have those anymore because everyone has calendars in their pockets. But they used to have these calendars. Like, I used to have a Dilbert one, and every one you pulled off would have a new Dilbert comic strip. We should do like a Dave calendar. Stupid stuff I say while making cooking videos. I think I'd buy it for myself, and then I'd give myself the money, so it'd be a wash. Now I can kind of cheat a little because I have a little thermometer that'll tell me the temperature. If you don't have these, you should get these. They're like 15 bucks. Maybe I'll put a link down below. Probably not, because I never remember to, but I could. And I'm just gonna check the temp in some of this chicken. Another way you could find out if it's done is you could just cut a couple pieces open and see if they're pink. 166. These look pretty much done to me. Yeah, and it will go in the oven, so it's gonna cook a little more too. Yeah, this is done. I just cut this one open. It's white inside. So this chicken's done. I don't want to overcook it. I think we just need to add the black beans. Let me check. Yeah, so it says add the black beans and remove the pan from heat. So there we go. We just dumped in the black beans. Remove it from the heat. Look at me, following instructions. So here's a question I have. I'm a bit of a nervous Nelly when it comes to chicken. So I want to stir these black beans into the chicken, but I was like, well, I don't really want to use the same spatula because it was just pushing around a raw chicken. And so I washed it. Is that necessary? Well, I did it anyways, so. All right, so we're just gonna stir the black beans into the chicken here, and then we'll see what's next. I can't really remember, but I'm assuming it's gonna be assemble the enchiladas. So let's bring this over to the other counter, and we'll be back with a new. So it says we need a greased 9x13 baking sheet. This is a 9x13 baking dish, not sheet. So I'm gonna grease it with either some Pam or some butter, whatever I can find. All right, we're gonna use the Pam to grease it here. That's just so the enchiladas don't get stuck. I'm a little confused by this. Hold on, let me get something. I'll show you what I mean. Because it like wants me to get this all set up and pour the enchilada sauce on it before I put it into that pan, which seems insane. Wouldn't you want to put the enchilada sauce on it after you get it into the pan? But I'm gonna put on this cookie sheet with a high edge because if I'm gonna be pouring enchilada sauce in there, I don't wanna get it everywhere. Okay, so we want our enchilada sauce, our chicken mix, and our cheese for this step. Let me open the cheese. Those are the 3 things we want. And then we're gonna set this dish over on the side. Cheese here, and then the enchilada. Okay, so here's what I've got. I've got the enchilada sauce and a tablespoon. I've got the cheese, and I've got the chicken. And it says that on each of these, I'm gonna do a generous spoonful of the chicken mixture. This, to me, looks like a very generous spoon. I feel like it donates to its local charities on the regs. So we're gonna say this is the generous spoon. So we've got a tortilla here on the little thingy. And it says take 2 tablespoons of the enchilada sauce. 1, 2. Oh, and I got it everywhere. That's what I said, that's what I said. And kind of spread it like this all around on the shell. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Then add the generous thing of chicken and beans. So we'll do that. Actually, I think this is maybe a too generous spoon. I think that's probably, yeah, whatever. We're gonna do it. We're gonna stick with what I said. How much cheese? 1/3 cup of cheese on each one. If you have not already done it, it would be a good time to preheat your oven to 350 because these are gonna go in the oven next. All right, so here's our 1/3 cup of cheese. Add that to it like so. That's a lot of cheese, wow. Whatever. I'm gonna use some toothpicks again. I really like using toothpicks when it comes to this sort of rolling up. I did it with the flautas and I didn't regret it. So this is where we roll it, like so. Get in there. That's a very full enchilada, I don't really know. Probably want it like that. I'm doing those just to try to hold it together, and I'm gonna transfer it over to my pan. So now my pan has 1 enchilada in it. It's not very tightly rolled. It might fall apart, we'll see. Let's repeat, rinse and repeat. Although we're not gonna rinse, we're just gonna repeat. 1, 2, and look, I got my, I got my tablespoon all covered in enchilada sauce, but whatever, it's fine. Hopefully these are amazing, generous spoonful of chicken. And then a 1/3 cup of queso, like so. You know what I was thinking? It might be better to put all the ingredients closer to an edge, then it'll roll easier. I don't know. Do you guys have any strategies when it comes to rolling? I went a little lighter on the chicken that time, and I got more of a complete roll out of it, so maybe that's the way to do it. What's your go-to when you go to a Mexican restaurant? Is it enchiladas or tacos or nachos? Here's my issue with nachos at a Mexican restaurant. This is important, guys. This is what we need to talk about. My issue with getting nachos at a Mexican restaurant is generally they're gonna give you free chips when you walk in the door, right? They're gonna give you some free chips, and it seems like a waste of money to go out of your way and order chips on top of those free chips. Not only that, but they're gonna give you salsa, and you know, if you're like me, you might order guac or what's the other thing called? Queso. Something like that. So you're really getting like a full nacho experience just before you even get your order taken. So to me, never seemed worth it to go to a Mexican restaurant and buy nachos, but let me know if your opinion differs. I'm gonna do all 8 of them and then we'll be right back. So honestly, this is a lot like the chicken flauta recipe as I'm cooking it. I think the chicken flauta recipe might have been shredded chicken, but at the end of the day, you know, minus the enchilada sauce, it's pretty similar. The big difference is that these are not fried, these are going in the oven. I have stopped measuring at this point, by the way. Typical slacker, but you know, it should be good. And my pan is full at 8. I also stopped using the toothpicks because I realized they weren't really making any sort of difference for me. So let me show you. I've got a bunch of extra chicken and beans, extra parts, no problem. So there's our chicken enchiladas. But yeah, I don't think the toothpicks were really doing anything on this in this case, so probably not necessary. So it says spread any of the remaining enchilada sauce over the tortillas, like in the pan here. I mean, based on the picture, it looks like you get a lot of enchilada sauce on here. Here's what I'll say. I really do think it's possible that the homemade enchilada sauce is a game changer. Like that might be the secret thing that makes this the world's best enchiladas. And since I didn't make it, this might be an unfair review. Is that enough enchilada sauce? I feel like it is. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm not sure if this is 100% fair, but whatever. This is what we're cooking, guys. I mean, and here's the thing. If this ends up being amazing, then you can make it without having to worry about making the homemade enchilada sauce, which is a lot of extra work. We're also throwing the rest of our cheese on top of this. One nice cheesy, delicious enchiladas. Maybe I should remove these toothpicks. I'm kind of scared they're gonna get lost. 3, I think there's 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. All right, spread the cheese around. Now these are gonna go in the oven at 350. You heard my oven beep a second ago. It's ready to go. So we're gonna put these in. I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna prepare the garnish Not the Jennifer Garner, the garnish. Okay, so this is going in the oven, 20 minutes, 350. Okay, so I cleaned my mess a little bit. We've got 13 minutes left till that's done. I'm gonna take out my garnishes. I got my sour cream. These are optional. It had avocado, onion, cilantro. These are all optional garnishes. So I don't know if I'm gonna put all of them on it. Like the raw onion, I'm not probably gonna do. I'll probably save that onion for something else. Be interesting to try avocado, so I probably will try that. But how do you use avocado as a garnish? I'm not really sure. Definitely will use the cilantro. You know me, I love the cilantro, so I'll definitely chop up some of the cilantro, which I already washed, and we'll throw that on there for sure. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I've seen people cut up avocados before. Maybe you just like cut it in half, like so. You gotta take out the inside thingy, a little ball. Wait, how do you do that? I've seen people do this. That didn't work at all. Ha, I'm a pro cook, guys. I don't want to cut myself, hold on. Got it. How do you like get the skin off of it though? Shouldn't you like, how do people make it look pretty? Oh, can I just peel it? Look at me, guys. I'm doing stuff I've never done before. It's kind of fancy. I must be from California because they like avocados. Get it? Pretty funny. Are you from California? Do you eat avocados for breakfast every day? Oh, look at this, got a little nubbin. Pull that off. Look at us, we got avocados. And then they like slice them and they put them on their toast. Obviously not everyone in California does that, guys. It's a joke. It's a joke. So I guess you could put this on your enchilada. I don't know, I like avocado, so I might do that. I might try a bite with it. It's not something I would have done normally, but it's what the recipe calls for. It's very slimy work, I'll tell you that much. All right, we've got some rough hewn cilantro, an onion I'm probably not gonna use, and then we've got avocado. So now it's just a waiting game. About how long? 9 minutes left, and we'll be back and we will try these enchiladas and see if they're the world's best in the world. The world's best in the world, enchiladas. All right, we just heard the beep. The enchiladas are done. I'm gonna pull them out of the oven. Okay, how's that look, guys? Looks pretty good to me. Nice and cheesy. The cheese is all melted. Delicious. So let's go ahead and add our cilantro to this. Where's the avocado? I still don't know. Do I actually put the avocado straight on it? Definitely could do some cilantro though. Everyone loves cilantro in this house, even if you guys hate it. All right, that's good enough, I think. Okay, so let's try to take one of these enchiladas out and give it a shot. I got my plate here. Put it on this side, and I don't want to burn my hand. I don't know if the tongs are the right tool or if I should use a fork to cut it free. As always, enchiladas end up being pretty soggy. Okay, so let's use the spatula actually. Pull it out. Yes, I just put my hand on the side of that pan. It was hot, it was hot. I'm gonna take some sour cream. I do love sour cream, so, oh, it's actually sealed. Put some sour cream on the side here on our plate, and here we go. Serving size and such. I'm gonna try it, guys. We'll see if these are really the world's best enchiladas. Just kind of break it in half here. We'll try it without the sour cream. Why? I'm always gonna want the sour cream. Oh, it's kind of falling apart. Oh, it's hot. It's really hot. Oh, I would say the dominant taste I just got was pain. Let me try again. Let me go back in. Try again, see if it hurts less this time. You know, they say they define insanity by someone who keeps doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It had cooled down a lot. Let me get another bite. Actually, let me try with a little avocado on it. I'm curious what that adds. Having a little avocado with it. I was just like, huh, I didn't taste the avocado. That's because it's still sitting here. I didn't actually put it on there. Let me try again, but this time I actually put the avocado on it. Silly Dave. Okay, I'm ready to review. So are these the world's best enchiladas? I don't think so. I don't think they're bad. I always have an issue with texture on enchiladas. It's always so slimy. Maybe there's certain tortilla shells you could get that would combat that. Definitely slimy. But you're putting sauce in it, you're cooking it in sauce, obviously it's gonna get slimy. We didn't really add much to the chicken if you think about it. Like there's not a lot of flavoring. I feel like if we had added some like spices, it would have really brought it to a new level. It's kind of bland. if I'm gonna be honest with you. The enchilada sauce maybe is what would add that. Like I said, it called for this custom enchilada sauce, and I didn't realize it till too late, and that custom enchilada sauce had all types of spices in it, so that might be the problem here. I would guess if you looked up a recipe using canned enchilada sauce, it would have a lot more spices on the chicken. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't make it like this. If I was you, if you wanna try it with their custom sauce. I think that's gonna make all the difference. This enchilada sauce is super bland, so that's what I'm struggling with. It being super bland, the texture not being up my alley. Go make the flautas, guys, the chicken flautas. That's another recipe on my channel, and I think it's a better use of your time. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time on World's Best Recipes.